In this video, I'm going to invite you into a board-level conversation reviewing CISO candidates. Each candidate represents a different leadership posture using the classic Dungeons & Dragons alignment framework as a lens. The framework captures how values, authority, and behavior interact under pressure. You'll see the alignment called out briefly between candidates. From there, we'll focus on how each one actually shows up and whether they can make the cut in a large enterprise. Let's begin. All right, next on the agenda. Well, after being added to the board this year and advising this organization several years prior on cybersecurity and enterprise risk, I was asked to sit in on the CISO hiring process, to score interviews, not to debate resumes, but to make sure the proper alignment was in place. And yes, I mean that in more than one way.
So you're here to break the tie?
I'm here to make sure we don't hire the wrong kind of certainty. All right, from a fiduciary perspective, once we make this higher, cyber risk stops being theoretical, it becomes a board-level obligation. HR, however, did us a solid first pass and surfaced a highlight quote from each candidate. In most cases, they tell you everything you need to know. I like to make a note here. Everyone you met is qualified on paper. Some are impressive. A few of them would absolutely keep us up at night. So let's walk through the candidates, okay? First up, Victor K. Resume highlight. Reduced insider threat incidents by 40% through enhanced monitoring and enforcement.
40% reduction sounds compelling.
It is, mathematically. HR interview quote. If people know they're being watched, behavior improves. Fear is an effective control.
He actually said that?
Without hesitation.
But the numbers.
Well, it improves because people stop reporting problems. Silence looks like compliance right up until the breach. This is misalignment at a cultural level. We don't advance this candidate. Okay, next up we have Adrian W. 3 enterprise security transformations, average tenure, 24 months.
High demand talent?
Or professional turbulence. The HR interview quote, I focus on outcomes. Ethics and culture aren't really my lane.
That's honest.
It is. And honesty helps until the enterprise pays the bill for someone else's personal outcomes.
So what happens after 2 years?
He leaves. We inherit the trade-offs. We're not advancing this candidate. Let's see. Thomas R. Highly credentialed, deep regulatory and compliance background. Resume highlight. Built a tightly controlled security program that passed every single audit with 0 findings.
That's impressive.
It is, on paper. HR interview quote. This is important. My job is to enforce policy. If people don't like it, that's not my concern.
That sounds firm.
It is. And it works. Right up until it doesn't.
What's the concern?
Well, the concern is control without empathy. See, that eventually turns compliance into resistance. People follow the rules publicly and work around them privately.
But wouldn't this reduce risk?
In the short term, yes. Long term, it drives it underground. This style optimizes control, not trust. For enforcement, not resilience. The organization becomes compliant on the surface and brittle underneath. We don't advance this candidate unless we're explicitly choosing fear-based order over sustainable security. Max C. built a zero-trust program in under 90 days.
That's impressive.
In a startup with no regulations and tolerance for risk that doesn't apply here. HR interview quote, if rules get in the way, we'll fix them later.
Later when?
Well, usually during the audit. This is alignment drift waiting to happen we don't move forward. Okay, Alex M. Strong reputation, known for stepping in when systems fail. Resume highlight. Escalated unresolved security risks directly to executive leadership to protect patients and customers.
That sounds like moral courage.
It is. HR interview quote. When the system puts people at risk, I don't wait for permission. I act.
That feels right.
It does. And it's usually how organizations survive their worst days.
So why isn't this the answer?
Because the role isn't just about doing the right thing in the moment. It's about building systems that don't require heroics to function. Alex solves failure. This organization needs someone who prevents them.
So what happens to someone like this here?
They burn political capital fast. They force decisions the system hasn't agreed to on its own yet. And eventually, they're labeled as disruptive instead of principled. This isn't a capability problem. It's a readiness problem. We shouldn't advance this candidate unless we're prepared to change how this organization governs risk. Okay, Daniel R. Incident commander for multiple ransomware recoveries here.
That's relevant experience.
In a crisis? Absolutely. The HR interview quote for this guy here, I'll do whatever it takes to get people back online.
And after the crisis?
Well, afterwards, exceptions pile up. Short-term wins, long-term fragility. Good instincts, however, wrong alignment for this role. Next up is Priya N. Excellent dashboards, very polished.
She felt safe.
Yeah, because nothing belongs to her.
Meaning?
Risk floats. Decisions stall. Security becomes advisory theater. Going to have to pass on this one as well. Okay. Sarah W. Led a major security culture transformation, 98% training completion.
She interviewed very well.
She did. She's principled. She's value-driven. Interview quote, my priority is protecting people and doing the right things, even when it's hard.
That sounds like alignment.
Ethically, yes. The question is how that holds when values and operational pressures collide.
So what's the risk?
The risk? Decision latency, not failure. Delay. Let's look at the last candidate. Mark E. Built a governance model that survived leadership turnover, a merger, and a breach.
He wasn't flashy.
Alignment rarely is. Interview quote from this gentleman. My job is to make sure the organization can absorb impact and continue to function.
That feels heavy.
It is. That's the job we're hiring for. Look, boards usually say they want ethics, speed, calm, control. What we actually need is alignment between values, authority, consequences.
So who do you recommend?
The candidate who makes us slightly uncomfortable now. Because they understand the job doesn't get easier later. Once we vote, the risk becomes ours. We should choose the person who's prepared to carry it with us. Leadership doesn't start day one of the job. It starts with the questions you're willing to ask before you say yes. Choose carefully.